Hello, hello, and good afternoon, good morning to some of those who are in the western part of the U.S. Hey, you guys, welcome to today's Q&A. We're talking about some of the available trucking jobs here at Decker Truck Line. So if you have questions on what we have available out of your area, the best thing to do is to put your zip code and your experience level in the chat so I can answer them and give you the details. So welcome, my name is Jessie. I'm here with Decker Truck Line, and every week we go live here on our YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook page every week on Monday. But go every live Tuesday at noon Central to answer your questions, give you some idea of what we've got going on here at Decker, what we have available. And everybody, you know, I get the questions on a regular basis, and some of them might be repeat from last week, but not everything changes from week to week. So that's why we're here, but there's obviously quite a bit that can. So anyways, if you have questions about availability, please put it in the chat so I can answer it. I do want to kind of go over a little bit of information for you, just pre-planned, I guess. It's more on weather related. So the weather is most definitely out there. Storms are coming. It is the 13th of December right now. For those of you who are watching live, obviously you know that. If you're watching the replay, that's what I'm talking about. The storms are coming through. There's tornado warnings. There have been tornadoes down in Oklahoma and northern Texas right now, so please be well aware of that. I hope you guys are in a safe location, or at least putting yourselves in a safe location, if not. And of course, making sure that you guys are always looking ahead, looking at the weather, looking at the forecast. We use a lot of different resources for the forecast, whether it be the weather.gov, the 511 sites for every state. There are a lot of Facebook groups out there that rock, especially my preferred, thank you to Angela, by the way, my preferred is the Truck Driver Road Report, or the daily forecast for truckers Facebook group. So that's awesome. It goes over road conditions, it goes over the road reports, the weather, like pretty much all of that. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask away. So I just wanted to remind you about the weather that's coming. There's a lot of snow. There's blizzard conditions a lot in the Midwest, and I'm talking Colorado, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, parts of Montana, and then a lot of weather coming into the Iowa area. So we're based out of Fort Dodge, Iowa, for those of you who are not familiar with Decker Truck Line. We have been voted one of the top 2022 best fleets to drive for, and we're going for round 2 for 2023, so we're looking forward to that. So if you guys see us out there, please make sure that you get a chance to reach out to any of our drivers. They do a phenomenal job, and they've earned that title for us. We're quite proud of it. So that being said, Fernando, hello. Goes, are y'all hiring mechanics out of the Bessemer terminal? You know what? Let me double check for you. You can actually access that kind of stuff, that information on our main website, which is deckertruckline.com. But I'm going to look for you real quick to see if there's any available non-driving positions. Most of what I answer are driving related, but that doesn't mean that I can't answer the other ones for you. There is a diesel mechanic, a second shift position out of Bessemer for any of those who are interested. So it's a second shift. If you are interested, again, I'm going to go ahead and just put in the chat, if I can find the chat. Fernando, here is the link to look at the actual job availability, and you can also apply online. Courtney, Libby, they'll get a hold of you, and once you fill out your application and go through that. So that is for the non-driving positions. You can access that. For those of you who are looking for driving positions, the link is drivedecker.com. And actually, let me put it up on the screen, because then you have it. So this is the actual link to So drivedecker.com. You can also call and get a hold of our recruiting department at 888-669. What I might do is just switch these two around, because it's a little easier to see, to use the email address. That's what I meant. There you go. So that's how you'll access it. But Fernando, for your question, asking about the Bessemer terminal. There you go. Speaking of the Bessemer terminal, actually, let me answer some of those questions for those of you who are interested. We do have a diesel mechanic position available out of Des Moines, Iowa, and then we have of course, the diesel mechanic tuition reimbursement for those of you who are interested, whether it be in Fort Dodge or Des Moines. For the students. We also have a second shift mechanic position available out of Fort Dodge, Iowa, our main terminal, and we do have the first and second out of Fort Dodge as well. We have weekend coordinator position available out of there, fleet manager available out of Missoula, Montana, and some TLS Tarper and Hustlers for TLS division as well. Again, that can all be accessed at Decker Companies, like DeckerTruckline.com, and I put that as the first link in the chat. I'm double checking my chat. I did. We're golden. Okay, sounds like a plan. Let me jump over to just kind of hit on some of the shutdowns, the areas. I-40 West in Oklahoma is shut down. Mile marker 115, 115 to 66. It's been over an hour for that, and it's continuing. And again, with that weather that's coming up South Dakota, there's road closures. I-90, there's an incident, no known Decker involvement here. I-90 from quarter-mile marker out of Ellsworth Air Force Base, exit 67 to Junction, South Dakota. 50 north on Chamberlain, exit 265. So there is an incident there on I-90 for road closures. Travelers can expect the following: road closure and enforced road closures until further notice because of the coming through. I'm going to share with you here. This is the Loveland Pass. Colorado US 6 Loveland Pass chains are required. You can see here, for those of you who are not driving and actually watching as well as listening, there is, the roads are covered. They're absolutely covered. Not much visibility for what's underneath, so well aware. Making sure that you, of course, have your chains for those of you who will be chaining up. We don't require that you chain. We do require that you have the chains, but that's DOT regulations, from the 1st of September to the end of May. But we do also ask that you make sure that the chains are in good working order. So they're in your box, either your side box or on the catwalk, depending on which, if you have a Volvo or but we have a couple of different types. We have makes Volvo, Freightliner, Cascadia Evolution as well. So mostly huge. Anyways, depending on where your chain box is, get them out, pull them out, make sure that they're in good working order before you're out on the road. And hopefully you've already done so. Getting you out of trouble, not into it. Remember, that's what chains are for. All right, back to the road closures. Colorado, I-70, mile marker 292 to the Kansas line, mile marker 449 in both directions. Also, I-76 eastbound Hudson to Nebraska, westbound Nebraska to Brush. All because of this winter storm that's coming. You guys, it is expected to be about 2 feet in some areas. So that's why we give you the heads up on the weather that's right. California, due to water issues, the Caltrans District 9 has closed the eastbound foreign X or red area until further notice, so heads up on that. Also, a lot of weather in the California area as well. Eastern Colorado roads that are closed to US 6, Brush to Nebraska, and US 385, Holyoke to Julesburg. And these are due to the blizzards. You guys, there are, I don't even know if I should name all of these because they're everywhere. US 6, US 385, US 287, US 138, Colorado 86, Colorado 59, several areas of 59, Colorado 52, Colorado 392, Colorado 771, US 34, US 36, Colorado 6, US 385, Colorado 138, Colorado 63, Colorado 113, Colorado 14, Colorado 23, and US 24 all closed due to the blizzard, you guys. Every single one of those Colorado roads that I just named, all closed due to the weather. Upper Michigan is supposed to get pretty hairy as well, wind, as well as up to snow, and probably even more on the bridge. Dallas, Texas, there's high water in 2 lanes. There are some flood warnings out of the Dallas, Texas area as well. Central PA, keeping a close eye on some potential weather there, Thursday and Friday. These weather patterns, the storm is to go through Thursday. So all of these storm warnings, these active areas are going until Thursday. Road conditions for US 281 in South Dakota, Redfield to I-90, slushy, snowy, icy. So be careful. You know, just to show you, some of the visuals are crazy how bad they are. Montana 287, mile marker 35 to 37. You can expect the following animals because there was a cattle drive going on. This is gonna be a whole cattle drive. I-90, mile marker 450. There's a crash, no known Decker involvement. It's passing lane is blocked westbound until further notice. Wyoming closures, Wyoming 789, Wyoming 430, Wyoming 313. Closed right now. Black ice reported on Chugwater on Wyoming I-25 and Wyoming 80. Last update is closed to all of the above. Double check there. I do have hey Michael. Well, hello again today. I was running errands on my motorcycle yesterday. No snow here. It all melted. Really? Mike is out. It's gotta be cold though, right? For riding on the bike. I'm a fair weather rider. I'm a very slow rider, but more so on the dirt bike than yeah. Anyways, lots of snow expected. So Michigan, I'm assuming, is gonna get hit with snow just as much as everywhere else. You're looking like Rapid City, 18 to 24 inches in some of those, even in Scottsbluff. Fargo, 8 to 12 inches, 2 to 18 in southern North Dakota and northern South Dakota. Sioux Falls, bordering on 3 to 5, also teetering into the 5 to 8, so they're kind of right on the borderline. Iowa is seeing 1 to 3 inches, but slick is definitely said. Same with southern Minnesota. But you guys just be on the lookout. There's actually visuals of some of the roadways in Colorado. That's not it. How about this one? There you go. You've got quite a few. McClure Pass. This was about an hour ago. Douglas Pass was nasty. Yep. Rabbit Ears Pass. Let me see. And this is US 160. Bull Bank Pass. Blue Mesa. Yeah, they're Monarch Pass. So they're not good, you guys. Not good at all. Not looking good. So please be safe. You guys have got to communicate with your drug commanders. Let them know where you're at so that they can keep you safe. Mike says I drove my pickup 700 miles out to Sioux Falls to purchase a 2-day. This is last July. Woohoo! And then rode it down to Lamar, Iowa to check out Schaefer Truck. Well, getting a little runtime in. Sounds alright. Well, hopefully you're doing well and staying safe on that. Probably not going to have that out for too much longer, I would imagine. Alright. Okay, so that's the weather. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. It's all across the board that the if you guys have questions, hit us up or check out the daily forecast and road conditions for truckers on the Facebook group. You can also check out all the 511s for each state, which you should be doing. Get a visual through those cameras. specifically, so you know what to expect, and you know whether or not you should be parking it and waiting it out, or if you decide you want to. Oh, is it? I didn't even hear that it was the logo was on. So let me. How's that? A little bit better? I'll just turn that logo off. Thanks, Mike. Okay, so winter weather is there. Please be well aware if you guys have questions. Like I said, check out the 511 for each of the individual states. Make sure if you're able to get on and look at some of the cameras, those will help you prepare for it. Okay, awesome. Didn't even know that I had volume on that. Good to know. Now I know I can do that for next time, right? Okay. I did want to talk about some of the available positions that we have here at Decker. And if you have questions on that, if you're wondering what we have available out of your specific area, zip codes help me. Zip codes are my friends. You can also just list the city and state and I can give you details. I can be even more specific if you tell me how much experience you have so that I can actually give you pay per mile and an average and all that good stuff. So fair enough? Fair enough. Okay. Some of the most common questions I get is out of the Iowa area, since our main terminal is in Iowa, we do have refrigerated and flatbed options. We also have home weekly as well as over the road options. So if you're looking to run coast to coast in the refrigerated division, we've got that option. We do a lot of West and Midwest runs that go as well as coast to coast, but real solid for West and Midwest in our over the road division, which puts you out about 2 to 3 weeks at a time on normal. And we figure for every 7 days you're out, it's a day and a half home time. So you're looking about 3 to 4 weeks, or 3 to 4 weeks. You're looking about 2 to 3 weeks at a time and 3 to 4 days at a time home. And again, the number that you're seeing on the screen, the 888-668-0698, that's the number to the recruiting department. So you can call and get specifics based off of your experience level, where you live and all that good stuff, what kind of equipment we have. And I can share all of that information with you here today as well. If you're looking for flatbed that's over the road, coast to coast, we have that option as well. It is mostly east of Denver. So yes, we have coast to coast opportunities, but most of it's going to be running east of Denver, a lot of Midwest and a lot of towards the east, like southeast, up and down the coast, at least on I-95 there. If you live in the Carolinas, anywhere from Texas to the Carolinas, we've got a lot of freight there that'll get you home in most areas on a weekly basis, running a lot of Midwest and Southeast as well. If you're looking to run areas of the Midwest, obviously we hope that you live in the Midwest in order to run those areas, then we have a home weekly option in both refrigerated and flatbed. Depending on where you live, our guaranteed pay will, depending on where you live, the guaranteed pay could be different from another area. And it's just because of the number of loads that you'll be running. You could be running some more shorter loads or shorter runs in that area than maybe another division. So we have a higher guarantee on that one. Mike says, my DM is saying to park at the truck stop or continue slowly in the blizzard. Yeah, that is, for us, we're going to leave that call up to you. And it sounds like your DM is probably doing the same exact thing, leaving that call up to you. Some people feel comfortable running in more treacherous terrain, I guess. And weather it doesn't always bother people, but you're going to have to move slowly. The thing is that's not my call. That has to be yours. Everybody, you guys are professionals. You guys, and each of you have different levels of not only skills and abilities, but confidence. And don't get cocky. I'm telling you that right now. The moment you get cocky and think you know it all is the moment we are all humbled, right? But be careful no matter what you guys do, and know that the load is important. Yes, the customer is important. Your life, your livelihood, the other livelihood of others out on the road, even more important. So please be safe. That's all I got to say. Please be safe. You know that's not all I got to say. I always have too much. Okay, so you're out of Alabama there, Mike. We have both refrigerated and flatbed options out of there. In the flatbed, we can do on a home weekly, and in with refrigerated, it's about 2 to 3 weeks at a time. With flatbed, when I say home weekly with flatbed, it's usually home on the weekends, like coming home on a Friday night or a Saturday morning and then leaving back out either Sunday night or Monday morning, for a good 34. Flatbed freight, for all of those of you who don't run flatbed and might not know this, flatbed freight doesn't usually deliver, or the customers don't always accept during the weekend. So it's really common and a lot easier for us to be able to guarantee you home on the weekends. Whereas the refrigerated division, we can't guarantee you home on the weekends because some of the customers do ship and receive on the weekends. We do try to straddle it during our pay period, which is on Sunday night. Our cutoff is Sunday night at midnight. So we do try to kind of straddle your home time on a Saturday, Sunday, or a Sunday, Monday, but it's not always the case. Sometimes you're home, sometime during the week too. So either one, that's an option. But Mike, I half read it while you were asking. He says, I was asking, what is the Decker policy? The only problem with the driver decision is they may not be monitoring the forecast as closely. Well, that's the deal. With Decker, we will reach out to those in certain areas. Like, for instance, we notice obviously the storm in a particular area. Say, let's use Oklahoma as an example. There are tornadoes down there. We're notifying our drivers who are in that area of the tornadoes, or close to that area at least. Or if you're driving through, we're notifying them, letting them know that, hey, this is in that area. Please be careful. Make sure, sometimes we'll tell you to park it. Was it last year or the year before? Kind of all runs together. But in the past, we have asked our drivers to shut down. Especially, I cannot remember if it was last year or the year before in December, that the wind was so bad within the Midwest, we shut down about more than 500 trucks because of where they were located and how severe those storms were. We didn't want to take the chance that our drivers were going to power through that and get those loads on time. We do pride ourselves on taking care of our customers. We do pride ourselves on safe delivery, but that's it. It's safe delivery. And if we cannot confidently have our drivers, our professional drivers, our family, out on the road in that area, we're going to ask you guys to shut down. We did it actually twice within a 2-month period. It's not something we do very often, but that is why we have the guaranteed pay in case of situations like that. And it's not solely for weather, but it's in case of situations like that. So we want you to check on it. We basically are relying on you to do your due diligence and look at the weather reports, but we are also providing you a heads up in certain areas. In every morning, Monday through Friday, I am on our Facebook page. I'm giving some daily forecasts. I'm giving you some road conditions, trying to update it. We are pushing that through in our Facebook groups as well so that you guys can access as much information as possible. But really, it is your job as a professional driver to look at the areas that you're going through and make sure that the weather is okay. There's a ton of apps out there. So we're doing our best to support you, but ultimately you are responsible for looking ahead and checking out those weather patterns to decide whether or not you'd be able to move forward or feel that you should. So it's a very good question, but so there's my answer. We do not require that you chain. We require you know how to chain and that you have the chains, but we don't require that you chain. Communication, though, is key, because letting your DM know, hey, I'm going to continue to move forward, or nope, I'm parking here, and I'm going to wait it out. It's not questioned. We just need to know. Let's see. Mike says, it's all safety first with Decker. Yeah, it is. It is. We're not going to put your livelihood out there. You're too important to take a risk like that. The big cold storage warehouse are open 24/7. I like running at night. That's true. A lot of our drivers like to run at night. Not everybody. Don't get me wrong. There's quite a few that don't like to run at night. But because we do a lot of refrigerated, it's hard to say, oh, you won't be able to, you don't have to run at night. That's not something that we could say, because we do have some that will receive. And so there could be some night driving in the refrigerated division. And like you said, they're open 24/7 in a lot of cases. So yeah, they're receiving. And you can avoid a lot of traffic that way. And I think that's why a lot of drivers like to do that. Mike says they shut down the highways to commercial drivers 2 weeks ago. They were predicting 6 feet of snow. Yeah, I watched that guy too. That Asian, I don't know how to say his name, but I totally watch him too. I don't know. I think to a point they need to take it seriously, because if it's an area, if, for instance, if Wyoming is shutting down a road, an interstate, this is totally my opinion. If Wyoming is shutting down an interstate, I feel that they know that road is dangerous and it's not worth having you go on it. There's a reason they're shutting it down. There are too many accidents in that state, like major accidents in that state, for them to not know that don't question them. They know that state better than you if you live in Alabama or wherever. If you live in Alabama and you're going through Wyoming and they're shutting it down, they know that it is not the time to be driving on that one. So to a point, I agree that they can't tell you all the time, but there is some severe areas that I agree that they should probably step in and say, you know what, I'm not taking the chance on your safety. Let's shut this down. With high winds and 6 feet of snow, it makes far more sense to stop at a truck stop than get on a highway, especially, and following a snowplow, the visibility behind those. What I do like is that now the snowplows have, I think they're green lights and blue lights, and they're like lit up galore, which in my opinion totally helps so I can give more distance, because sometimes you just can't see. In my office, I don't. I do use my 2 monitors here, but I do know in the Fort Dodge, I believe in Bessemer as well, but Fort Dodge and Missoula, the weather is all over there on screens, so that the DMs are keeping an eye on it for those drivers in that area. And actually what we have is we've got a screen with the weather, and then we've got a screen where like little red dots representing each of our drivers and overlapping the weather pattern. So we know these are the guys that we need to reach out to. They're in the area of concern. So they're going to send a message out through the TransFlow. And we use the TransFlow Geotab system for the communication, for your hours of service, for a lot of stuff. And that is something that our DMs keep an eye on. Yep. Yeah, true. We also don't want to see a crash of $300,000 rig. No, I'm with you there. But it's all of that. You don't want to see the damage there. But if there's damage there, that means that there's a possibility of you being hurt, of somebody else on the road being hurt, and all kinds of things. So it's not. You got to be safe. I'm a night owl and I like to run at night. Yeah, you can get through a lot of those areas that are highly populated. High winds are a major problem, especially for empty trucks. And when we've got gusts 45 to 75 miles an hour and you're empty in some of those areas, that it's just going crazy, sometimes you just got to sit. I drove a car up at snowstorm 2 weeks ago. Yeah, they were confusing to me too. Okay, so he's saying, it's hard for me to read while as I'm talking, but he's saying, the bright snowplow lights, they were confusing me, and I had no idea what color they were. I didn't know what color they were either at first, but after I followed it for many miles, I came to the conclusion that they're blue and green and yellow. But I could be wrong, because it depends on where I was at, what color I thought they were. That following them on Highway 200 is where I was at, up in Montana, and yeah, visibility was poor, pretty poor, but I got there safely. But icy roads on that one, and thankfully that plow was there to save the day. Give me some light in a very white and icy area. I think they're new this year, though, aren't they? Because I never noticed them last year. I thought it was a police car as well. I'm like, ooh, somebody's in trouble, and I don't have no idea where they're even at. But no, it was a snowplow. Yeah, pretty handy. Pretty handy. All right, so over the road flatbed, over the road refrigerated options. We also have our regional and more home weekly options as well. So what I was saying about the refrigerated position, if you guys are looking for weekly home time, just know that it's not always on the weekend, even though that's our goal for you is on the weekend. Just know that it could fluctuate a little bit. But our guaranteed pay or our minimum pay requirement that we have, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, the guaranteed pay is for those, well, basically it's a safety net is what it is. It's not a maximum. Know that. You can make over and above that amount. But it's what you're guaranteed to make on a weekly basis so that you can survive, you can budget, you can, have that peace of mind. So your cents per mile is based off of your experience level. And then of course the number of miles you run is the number of miles you run. And if whatever that total is, you'll get that unless you don't meet them. Like for instance, you're going to get the better of the two. So I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this to you guys. So here's the deal. The minimum requirement in most cases is $1,000. $1,000 gross a week, okay? Well, there are some divisions that are $1,450 a week, $1,250 a week, $1,700 a week. Those are usually shorter runs. They're home. Most of those are home weekly. And the $1,000 a week is for a lot of our more over-the-road positions. And that is just like a safety net. That one's more of a safety net where the other ones, the $1,250, the $1,450, and the $1,700 that are out there, those are more of the guaranteed pay. You're not likely to make a whole lot more of that because those are in areas that you're running a lot of short runs and it's going to be harder to get above and beyond that. That being said, if you have 16 years of experience, 20 years of experience and are making 70 cents a mile, getting over and above that's going to be a whole lot easier than if you have 4 or 5 years of experience and not making that 70 cents a mile, but instead in the refrigerated division making 58 cents a mile or making 60 cents a mile in flatbed, something like that. So obviously with the more experience, the fewer miles it's going to take to exceed that. Now in the over-the-road divisions, where the guarantee is $1,000 a week, you can make well over that. It just depends on A, your experience level, and B, the miles that you're running. And if there's weather out there, just know you've got that safety net. I was listening to a talk show yesterday. Was it Freightwaves? I can't remember where it was at, but they were talking about the average income for a truck driver, over-the-road truck driver, and it was $48,000 a year. $48,000. Our average here at Decker is around $75,000 a year, and we have several drivers who are making beyond that. So it's a significant difference between what the average truck driver is making nationwide versus what our average drivers are making. But again, that safety net is right around that $1,000 a week, so you know you've got $50,000 a year, right? Let's do more than that. Okay, so the cents per mile is based off of your experience. The guaranteed pay or the minimum pay requirements are these 6. They're pretty basic, but they're 6. Be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. So that's why it was important for me to explain that in the refrigerated division, we can't guarantee you home on the weekends necessarily, even though that's our goal, is because you have to be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week, but it could fluctuate throughout the week. Whereas with flatbed, it's less likely to be on the weekends. Okay, so be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. No load refusals, no driver service failures, no CSA violations for the week. Remember, this is a week-by-week basis. No CSA violations, no preventable accidents for the week, and get your paperwork in by midnight or by 10 p.m. on Sunday night. So the sooner you get your paperwork in, the better, because then you don't have it like hanging out wondering where the heck is it, come Sunday. But those are the requirements. There's 6 basic requirements, and that's what gets you that guaranteed pay on a weekly basis. So there's no mileage requirement in order to get that guaranteed pay. Cool? Okay. I'm way behind on the comments, so I'm going to hop on over here and see if I can't. I was driving a minivan, the snow points was coming off the bumper. Yeah, I have to try and find the rumble strips, but sometimes when the snow is that bad, you can't go off of those with the visibility. And at that time, that's usually when it's time to pull over. Brandon says, "How you? I finally got to catch a live one. Hey, Brandon, how are you? I'm good myself. Thank you. I'm glad you're here." Oops, hang on. I've got things pop. Oh, the fuel surcharge just popped up in front of me here. Mike says, "I would rather drive 4 weeks straight than have 1 week off." Yep, that's a true driver, right? You get stir crazy. You get stir crazy. I am just pulling up for those of you who are interested in the lease purchase, or those of you who are owner operators wondering what this week's fuel surcharge is. Looks like it is 57 cents. So it went down 3 cents from last week. It's dropping. Obviously, the cost of fuel is dropping, and therefore the fuel surcharge will drop too. It's usually a week delay. For those of you who aren't aware of that, it's usually a week delay. Sorry, I want to send that on to the recruiters before I forget. All right, so speaking of fuel surcharge, we have a lease purchase program for those of you who have run company at least 90 days here at Decker. So if you've run company for us for 90 days, you do have the option to do a lease purchase. There are additional requirements, so don't let me give you the assumption that you can just automatically go into lease purchase. We want to make sure that you have a scorecard, which is one of our bonus calculators here basically, but you have a scorecard of 850 or above on a regular basis. That is going to predetermine your success. Now, I can't guarantee your success, but it's going to predetermine your success. If you're not getting a good scorecard on a regular basis, you're probably not going to see a lot of success in the lease purchase. I had a conversation with Adam earlier today, which shout out to Adam for all the information and taking the time to help me and to help other drivers out there. But he was telling me that knowing your numbers, this is basically a quote from him, or paraphrase, but knowing your numbers will make or break you as a lease purchase. He had ran lease purchase for another company before and was not successful at it because he didn't understand his numbers well. He's come over here. He is using an app that ATVS also uses, and it's by Let's Trucking. It's a fuel gauge app. And then there's also a profit gauge app that he was talking about. And I'll actually have him on here. He'll tell us a little bit more about it later. Not today, but sometime later. But anyways, he said with that, he has such a better understanding of where his money goes, what his expenses are, what he's actually making per mile, that he knows he now can show that he's successful with it. And it's fantastic. So anyways, if you guys have any questions on it, it's ATVS uses it. It's Let's Trucking, or Let's Truck. Is that what it is? Yeah, letstruck.com has all of those gauges, and they can help you. There are apps out there. But anyways, they'll help you. And we were talking about the fuel surcharge. It does delay about a week off of the national average. But right now it's so it evens out. So right now it's at, what did I say, 57? Yeah, 56? I can't remember what I said. Anyways, yeah. So Mike says, "I told a friend I was driving to a go." That's not cool. That's not cool. Yeah. Oh, that would be hard. That would be hard. I must have missed one, and then instead of having weekends off. Oh, I see what you're saying. Work 4 weeks, then have 1 week off. I got you. Yes, and that's basically how we've got it. If you are staying out an extended period of time, so we have several drivers who run over the road who will stay out several weeks at a time so that they have a week off. So they can take valuable time off and not just catch up on sleep type of time off. Not just getting the laundry done. Speaking of laundry, we have laundry facilities at our facilities. We have terminals in Missoula, Montana, Fort Dodge, Iowa. We have them in Bessemer, Alabama, Hammond. So the Des Moines shop does not have facilities, but we do have a car available to you so that you can sign out the car, run over to a laundry facility that's actually nearby, and or a truck stop that's nearby as well, and get laundry done if need be. So like when you're getting your work done on your truck, we try to make it as driver friendly and usable, amenities and stuff like that as friendly as possible. That's why our trucks have as much as they do. Our trucks have APUs, refrigerators, microwaves, CB units. We have navigation, Sirius radio ready if you want it. We have 22-inch televisions, bunk heaters, which is my favorite part. I'm always cold. What else? The 22-inch television, Epic View satellite TV, so it's 100 plus channels. So in your downtime, you do have something to just chill out with. The trucks are very, very well equipped. Trying to give you some creature comforts. But Brandon says there's an app called Mudflap that will help with fuel discounts. Mudflap, I'll have to remember that. I'll write it down. Also, speaking of fuel discounts, we have, if you are using our fuel solutions, which I highly recommend, if you're a company driver, use the fuel solutions. If you're an owner operator lease purchase, I highly suggest you use the fuel solutions. It will save you between 46 and 48 cents a mile. I say between because I can't remember which one it is. I think it's 48 cents a mile is what our average is for savings through our fuel solutions. It's a huge savings. That alone. So this is where I was going with the original comment about what drivers are making on average throughout the U.S. They're saying drivers are making $48,000 on average. That's what was it FreightWaves? It had to have been someone. Actually, I know exactly who it was. It was the Bloomberg Markets and Finance who reported that a few days ago, a couple weeks ago, actually, to be more precise. They were reporting that's $48,000 for drivers. Well, our owner-operators can save $48,000 a year in fuel discounts. I'm not kidding you. That's a huge difference, you guys. Huge. You figure you're running, if you ran 100,000 miles for the year, and if you run 100,000 miles a year, and you're just for easy math, and you're at 48 cents a mile, that's 48,000. That's one average driver's paycheck for the year, or earnings for the year. Yeah, well, here at Decker, obviously our earnings are more, but okay, I'm getting off of that. I'm getting sidetracked, but that's why it's important to use our fuel solutions and for savings as a lease purchase or owner operator. Mike says, the lease won't work for me. For the last 35 years, I've saved more money repairing my own trucks than driving them, have my own shop. Well, that I'm sure makes a big difference. Having, being handy. I worked at a 30 truck fleet, and guesstimate the pilot was giving them a 40 cents per gallon prepaid discount. About 40 cents. Yeah, so there makes a big difference. Those savings can definitely add up. All right. So yes, we've got refrigerated, we've got flatbed, regional, over the road. It just depends on where you guys live. So if you have questions, make sure that you reach out to us so that we can give you details. The number right here on the screen, where's it at? Here, 888-668-0698 is the number to get a hold of our recruiting department. You can also apply online at drivedecker.com. Mike says, I saw a Camper Life video yesterday. They were talking of discount cards. It takes your money from your debit checking account. Woo! Yeah, plus there's like an upside, which is another one too, so for savings. All right, you guys, I will see you tomorrow. If you're part of our Facebook group, you can hop on there and we'll give you some details. I also do want to mention that right now our sign-on bonus is extended till the bonus is extended till the 27th of December, and as well as the orientation pay. So if you have more questions, get a hold of the recruiting department because they will give you specifics on that. So again, 668-0698. $1.30 a mile, Mike? That's a lot of savings. That is a lot of savings. Yeah, that'll add up quick, right? All right, I appreciate you guys taking the time. Mike, thank you. Brandon, it was great to see you. Michael, I will see you as well. You guys, thank you all for joining me today. And we'll see you tomorrow if you're part of our Facebook group, and we'll talk weather. You can reach out to me directly. Actually, if you call the number 888-668-0698, you can reach out to me directly. You can also reach me on my direct line, which is 406-203-4413. Clearly, I say this one a lot more. All right. 406-203-4413, Brandon. And I can reach out to you too.